The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Thomas, called Didymus, one of the 12, was not with them when Jesus came. So the other disciples said to him, "We have seen the Lord." But Thomas said to them, "Unless I see the mark of the nails in his hands, and put my finger into the nail marks, and put my hand into his side, I will not believe." Now, a week later, his disciples were again inside, and Thomas was with them. Jesus came, although the doors were locked, and stood in their midst and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here and see my hands, and bring your hand and put it into my side, and do not be unbelieving, but believe." Thomas answered and said to him, "My Lord and my God." Jesus said to him, "Have you come to believe because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and have believed." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Profiting today with the first reading, it brings to attention one of the great pleasures in life, especially when you travel out of the country. And one of those great pleasures, it is when you go back to your home. Have you seen that? So you go to a 5-star hotel, everything is so fine, so good, the best food, all this stuff. But you dream of the moment that you're back in your own bed. And that happens also to spiritual life. The first reading, it is presenting that you are not a citizen of this world. You are a citizen of heaven. And it is marking that desire. As we were telling, what a pleasure to go back home. The Spirit needs to do the same. What a pleasure, what a desire. I eager to go back to the presence of God. But in the meantime, that it's the connection that we have between those two readings, the desire to go back to my real home, the homeland, heaven, back to where we belong, back to God. But in the meantime, there's a condition, and it is that we are still without sin. When was the last time that you saw Jesus that it was not in the Holy Eucharist? Like sitting down, drinking coffee. "Hello, Lord, how are you?" Sit down. "You need a little shave, Lord, maybe." When was the last time you had a conversation in that level with him? Well, maybe it happens to some of the saints, like Saint Anthony of Padua. When he was playing outside, the baby Jesus was coming to play with him. Tells the story. But for the rest of mortals like us, we are under the line of that gospel, the last line of the gospel that it says with the words of Jesus, "Blessed are those who have not seen and have believed." And we are in that level, my friends. We are walking by faith. So what is actually what moves ourselves to believe when we don't have something that is tangible, like we can touch it, like, hey, check this out? Well, there's something that it is called inside the Spirit. And it is part of the gifts that we have received from God. The soul, the spirit, the body. And our spirit, in the words of St. Augustine, it is telling that with the heart too, it is restless. It is restless until we are back with Him. So you can check actually the world, and it is, we have a great need. The need to feel God, the need to feel love. But for people that they don't have that experience, you will realize that they try to cover that void with something. because voids, they are for that. You need to put something in there. So what are people doing? Well, I need to cover that with pleasures, with risky adventures, driving very fast, I don't know, maybe having all the money of the world. I will cover that with a lot of technology, so I have the last gadgets of the world. There's a void in there that humans, by nature, we try to cover. But what happens when we have the experience of Thomas? Thomas is telling, I will not believe until I put my finger on those marks. That was the time for him. He saw the Lord in person before the resurrection and also after the resurrection. In our case, we only have the experience after the resurrection of the Lord. But in the moment that he sees the Lord, he is no longer having doubts. But he goes to the phrase, my Lord, my God. For us, it is that discovery. We discover that experience of God, and people later, they ask you, what's going on with you? Why are you always happy? Why are you surrounded by problems, but you continue life like the problems, they don't exist? Because there's a motive. There's something that it's promoting you, and it is the famous opening the door to him. And even that I don't see him, but I know that he is here. I know that he's walking with me. And even to the point of intelligence, how could it be that a world this marvelous, because the world is very beautiful. You just need to travel a little bit and you will see creation. You will see the hand of God. Can you imagine the one that created that? So you go to the best waterfall of the world and you just go to, there's better things. The one that created things like that. So your own spirit, in the mercy of God, it is also guiding you to that experience. I will finish with this. According to the Holy Scripture, when something it is from God, it produces one thing. And that's the way that we can recognize that God is there or God is passing. And it is that it produces peace, according to the Holy Scripture. So when we have that experience of the Lord, it could be with the Blessed Sacrament. It could be reading Holy Scripture. It could be serving others. It could be just trying to love and have a better version of yourself, even in that moment. And it produces that famous peace that the Lord is telling in every Mass. You remember, my peace I give you. My peace I live with you. That experience, it is also telling you there has to be something more. And not only there has, it is.